Hey guys! Welcome to the channel. My sem just started and I've finally got enough time to show you my new Notion page. It seems like you guys really liked my Notion page from my previous semester, so I thought you guys might like to see the one I made for this sem too. I'm also showcasing another thing I made outside from Notion to help me organize my thoughts, and maybe you can also take inspiration from it. I tried to make the vibe of the template a little different from the last one. This one I made especially for dark mode since I wanted to try it out. So let's get into it! And here we are at my Notion page. So as you can see, it looks pretty different from my last one, especially since I went for dark mode this semester. So I went for this teal color, like teal turquoise color. It depends on like what side you kind of look at it, because I see this is more of teal and like the greenish one is more of turquoise, but a lot of people use them interchangeably, so I'll call them probably both by the entire video. But yeah, I've wanted to experiment a little bit on a slightly more monochromatic like design than the last one, because the last one it's just full of colors, and I kind of wanted to see if I can kind of fit a neutral, not exactly a neutral color, but something that doesn't like lean too far in like too like minimalist or too frilly. I don't know how to like describe it, but I wanted to go with a color that anyone can use. So yeah, with this one I wanted to make it also a little bit more complex, that the techniques that I use are something that not a lot of people know you can do in Notion, just to kind of expose you guys to a different style of making things. So as you can see, the dashboard area is a lot different than it looked the last time, since now the class schedule is on the right, or the classes not in the middle, and then it's still split into my normal like 3-column dashboard type of layout. So I'm going to be basically sharing this. I'll be sharing all my resources in the description so you guys can check it out if you want to. The template for this one is also there. So this is going to be the showcase portion. If you want to see how to kind of modify and make the template to suit your own subjects, then stay tuned, because that's near the latter part of the video. And then yeah, so these are the things that I have. So let's start from the top. So this is just normal Unsplash. I think I just searched like turquoise or teal. I think I searched turquoise. I can't spell. So it's somewhere around here. Just kind of like look around for turquoise or teal. I kind of forgot what I did since I made this pretty long ago. And then this cover is actually a GIF. So how you do that is you go on to what I use is Giphy, so Giphy. That's also going to be in the description. You can download or link one over here. So, and that's how I added this, and it's animated. This is just a normal, like I didn't really do much to this. This is actually a Kaomoji. It's a Kao emoji. It's like Japanese emojis type things where they use a lot of symbols, and that's also where I found these moons, and that's just something you can copy paste and Notion can actually understand the symbols. So there you go. So instead of having just a plain title, you can have this and it looks a little bit more fancy. Then just like my last one, I also have kind of like a status indicator for me. So it says here like 4th year in UP, first sem in speech comm. So last time it said something about my like non-major status, and now it's this. So you guys might be wondering why it's like this and how I'm able to do this. So I actually use K-Tex, so that's going to be one of the more advanced techniques that I'm going to show off through the showcase. K-Tex is what they use when writing math problems, but you can also use it to format things in Notion. So if you click on this, it says color box, text color, and then you just see a bunch of code. I'll try to explain this as best as I can. So color box refers to the actual like box you see over here. It looks really similar to the highlighter dividers that I made in my last template. So color box, and it has a hex code. The hex code actually allows me to get a custom color on this. And then the text color is, this is the text color. But the cool thing about this text color is it's the exact same hex code as the background. So it looks like you got this giant box of color, and then the text looks like it's part of the background. So it just looks like it's punched in. Then, these lines are just to indicate a divider, and then just type in these brackets. So that should, kind of work for you guys if you just change up the text. Because you don't have to change up everything. If you want to change the color for the entire box, you change this. If you want to change the text color, you just change this. If you want to change the other text, then just change that. I'll go more into detail later on. So let's start with the left side first. If we look at this one, it says calendar, right? So if you can see it has an icon, and this icon is actually from Flat Icon. My brain keeps saying Flat Icon, but it's from Flat Icon. In Flat Icon, if you log in, you can change the color of the icons you download. So I did that for that. And then these are widgets. Widgets are just, fun things you can embed in your page and then make it look cool. So there's a clock widget, 2 countdowns because my SEM extends until January, so I have a separate one until Christmas break and another one till the end of the SEM. And then you have this, which is from, I think, Widget Box. So these are from Indify. This calendar is from Widget Box. I just use the same hex code as these to do the same thing. Oh, there you go. And then if we click on the calendar, you can see that the calendar is colored. And you might be wondering how I'm able to do that, since the numbers are actually green instead of the usual white. Well, it's a trick you can do with toggles. So this toggle is on, so if you turn it off, you can't see the calendar anymore. But the kind of cool thing about this is if you change the toggle color, it changes the entire color of the spread, or at least the calendar. If we want it to be pink, you click pink and it changes all of the numbers to pink, and that's really cool. So I'll change it back to green. And then we move on. So after the widgets, I talked about the urgent and the daily dash. So the urgent, if you look at the filter, it'll show where the due date is within the next week or the due date is today. So it'll show you what you have due for the upcoming week, and then done is not checked. That just means that you haven't done it, if you guys don't understand code. Then for sort, it's just due date ascending. So in the next week, these are the things that I have due. So I have module 2, an intro lecture, and a comparison assignment. And then, it has the checkbox, the subject, the task, the type, the due date, and the guidelines. So for daily dash, it actually displays every assignment that isn't done. So as you can see, you can keep scrolling. So it has load 37 more because I didn't want to fill this up until the bottom with homework, so I just put it on properties. If you click on it, you can see I put show on first load 10 pages. Then this actually has a different look to it. So this is the still not done, so it shows all the undone tasks or the tasks that I haven't done yet or I haven't checked off. But if I want to see all homework that I've entered throughout the entire semester, click that. There you go. So these are the stuff I have done and they display themselves, but I'll keep it on still not done since I'm using it that way. Then we scroll all the way over to the bottom before I go onto the right side. So this is the academic calendar. This is a timeline if you haven't seen one, and then it just tells you what's happening with the semester. I put my entire semester here, so deadlines of big subjects, or just essay exam, deadline for dropping, and then basically the deadlines or the big projects that have a set deadline I already put here. So as you can see, some of them have subject bars. So we click on one of them. For example, this one, deadline of essay exam. It has 2 properties. It has the date and the subject. So the subject I can just pick from that. There you go. And then, it just goes all the way down until the end. There you go. You can see all the deadlines kind of piling up over here. Now we move on to the right side. This is basically a gallery. It's the same thing that I used in my last template, and if you click on this, that's why it's different, because it's another coding thing. It's another KTeX label. So if you want to get these photos, I just found these off of Google. And actually, if you want to know more about a gallery, I have a video on that coming up. I'm not sure when I'm going to post that, but I sure have one coming up. So I'll have the tutorial playlist in the upper right corner if you guys want to check that out and see if there's a new gallery tutorial. So now, if we look at this, you can see that there's a bunch of different things over here. So these are just the features that I have. So this is how I actually have my schedule. So I have my day for when the subject is, the time slot, the section, the classification. Classification just refers to what type of subject it is. So if we look on here, it says other required majors, and electives. So you just kind of know which ones are your majors or not, just an extra little detail. And then I like color coding mine, so I actually have the color codes here. Since the entire look is very monochromatic, I needed a way to kind of incorporate the color in there compared to last time when I used the images to incorporate the color. Now I have this little bar on the bottom, and how I do that is through the same K-text coding. So if you click on this, you can see color box, text color, and it's just 5 dashes. So basically I have the color box and the text color as the same color, and then you make a little square. And that's how you basically do it. Now let's take a look into what these contain, because this is part of the spread too. If we look through here, it's English 23, and the class is Introduction to Shakespeare, and that's why the icon's like this. So this is also from Flat Icon. You just change the hex code, just like I said earlier, and download and then upload it onto Notion. So now let's look at what this looks like. So when you enter the page, you have this, and I just put Introduction to Shakespeare because that's the name of the class. And then we have buttons under here. So if I click this, click this, it'll just enter into what I loaded it to be. So these are buttons from Indify, and just to tell you guys, you need to make a specific, like, one button for one link. If you change the link on the website, it'll all lead to the same place. So I don't want to click on these because I'm trying to keep my professors and their information confidential. So I just have this right now. So if I click on this, it opens my syllabus, it opens the class page, and then we don't have a class call. That's why it stays the normal teal color instead of the purple that matches the rest of them. So these are all custom. So if you click on this, it's the same thing. Large is actually a font size, so you can change the font by doing that. So table of contents, class information. So basically the ones here are the exact same as the ones that I used previously. It's just that I added this. So my exam schedule, which is a linked database to my academic calendar. So if you see this, that means it's linked. So anything you change there updates here, anything you change here updates on the main page. So this is what it looks like right now. So if I want to go to, for example, class notes, I click this button and it's supposed to, it jumps to class notes, and then you can add your actual notes here if you take notes digitally. And then this is the task input. Well, not exactly like an input, but more of a look on what you still have due for the subject. So you can just, this is like a quick look. So this shows you the most urgent ones first. But if you want to see the entire one and you actually want to input tasks, you can look at it through here. So this is all the deadlines I have set for English 23. Then, normal grade tracker and grading scale. So it's about the same for the rest of my subjects. I'll just show you what they look like. So speech 100. If I open this up, let that load. So it says Introduction to Speech Communication. This is the course pack from my professor, but I shouldn't click on it since privacy and all. And then enter class call and go to class page. So you can see it's not the same color as this. That means there's nothing there. And then I added this little toggle for the class call password. So if you have a Zoom password, you can just keep it there and then toggle it if you want to keep it hidden like I am. So the same thing for these. So, course requirements, task input, important info for the actual class. Then the timeline, class notes, readings. Just a little warning, readings, the maximum is 5 MB. So if your readings are bigger than 5 MB, you can't embed them here. Then you have the task input, so the same thing, task tracker and grading scale. It's the same thing for all of these. It's just that the colors are different, and I decided to make the pages look different since it's gonna be really helpful when you're looking through them and then you realize what page you're on instantly once you get used to the color coding. So there you go. This is the same thing. And this is the same thing. So we look through, and it's the same thing. So this is for Psych 150, Theories of Personality. So I only have 4 subjects this semester. And this is what it looks like. So these are actually preloaded with my subjects. And then these are already preloaded with the different types of things you can have. So, quiz, homework, lecture, exam, reading, asynchronous lecture, essay, supplementary video, optional activity, optional event, bonus point activity. So these are actually not exactly color-coded because I just added them in. And then due date, guidelines, same thing. And then for these these only show the task for this one subject. And how do you do that? So you look at it where subject is, it's just a filter coding thing where subject is the subject you're on and done is not checked. So that means you haven't done it yet. And then you sort it by due date. But if you want to see all the previous homeworks for the subject, like the main kind of task input in the front, go over here. All homeworks for the subject shows you everything you need to know. Then just move it over to still not done since that's what I'm working on. Then that's the same thing here. So this, if we actually stretch this out, I can show you the filters that I used. So for the filter, its subject is the subject and done is not checked. And basically it's the same thing. I just went over here. It looks different since I went over to properties and hid the other ones. So you can't check off tasks here. This is just like an overview type of thing. But you can see what task it is and what type it is. So there you go. And then we can just kind of shrink it back to fit that. Now I am going to cut to a template version of this and I can teach you guys how to customize this for yourself. Okay, so now we're on a separate copy of this page. This is an exact copy of the template that I have on my template page that I have in the description. I actually have a little bit to fix later on, so I'll make sure to add that onto the main one. But yeah, so this is the same thing. It looks the same, just without the task list, without the professor information, without the extra stuff. So it looks exactly the same. Now, the first thing I want to teach you guys is how to change this into your own subjects. So let's just say you have a new task, and then we'll call this task 1. And then the type doesn't change really, but you don't have the same subject as I do, so how do you change that? So you can go over here and just change it up. So go over here. If you only have 4 subjects, you can just change it. So I'll name this after one of my subjects that I've done previously. So we'll call this Phil 40. So you can label it as Phil 40, but if you go to Eng 23, you'll see that the Phil 40 is still there because it's not exactly the name that it's associating, it's this portion of the table that it's associating. So you can just change it really quickly if that's what you really want. So just change this to Phil. Oh yeah, this is also a special title. So go over here, Phil 40, and then just delete this one. And you delete it by, yeah, it has a tendency of duplicating itself, especially in situations like this. So do it like that, Phil 40, and then there you go, it disappears, and then now you have your new one. So if you have this, you changed it, you can just change your icon, make it an emoji if you really want to, and then you can change the time slot. So for example, my Phil 40 isn't on a Tuesday, Thursday, it's on a Wednesday, Friday, and the time slot is at 2:30 to 4. Just remove that, and then you can just add your section here if the section really matters to you. And then classification, yeah, it's a GE, so there you go. And then it now just shows like that. So now it's changed, this is changed, and basically everything in this page is now calibrated. It doesn't matter that you just changed the name, it automatically connects. There you go. Now the next thing I want to show you is within the page itself. It's already preset, so you can see task 1, I assigned it to Phil 40, it's already here. But a thing you have to do is actually the academic calendar. I'll fix this actually in the main one since it's easy enough to fix. But it's actually a timeline view, right? Last time you saw it was a timeline view. Why is it on a table view? Because I added a view to it. And when you add a view or you make a linked database, the base form of it is actually a table. Then you have to actually use the views to change it into what you want it to look like. So it automatically went into table view. I added a timeline view. If we go over here and delete this, its default will already be a timeline. So I can actually change this in the main template, but I just wanted to tell you guys since this is a pretty important little factoid to know about Notion. So same thing for class notes reading, since the colors are exactly the same. Now, how do you change the colors? You go over here, you see the hex code, all you have to do is like change it. So we'll change this to like a C. Oh wait, never mind. It doesn't really kind of work that way. So let's change this to a 1. There you go. If you change it to a B, it turns, like that. If you change it to an A, it's about the same, just a little bit more blue. To a 4, very blue. So it's kind of like that. That's how you change it. Just get a hex code, look online for a hex code that you want, and then just input that inside. So it's the same thing for this one, it's the same thing for this one, and that's how I can coordinate between all of them, what color they are, even if it's not necessarily available in Notion. Because if you're really curious, this is what a purple looks like on dark mode Notion. So let's do the same like highlighter trick I did last time. Like that. That's what it looks like. It's pretty dull. So if you didn't see that, I'll do that again. So to make the highlighter dividers, if you're on light mode, it works a lot better on light mode. You click on the 6, you go all over to color, you look for background, you click, there you go. That's a divider, basically. But, I prefer to use the normal dividers and my custom, since the pastels look so much better on the dark mode. So that is how you kind of change the preset subjects into one of your own. Now, how do you actually add subjects? Since I know that some of you don't just have 12 units for the semester, some of you have way more units. So, for example, I wanted to add another subject. Like one of my other subjects, I'll kind of like think for off the top of my head, we'll call it Soc-Sci 2. Social science, basically. And then I already have a preset class page template, so you click on that and then let it load. So there you go. So you have there. It'll start loading in. Now, the first thing you'll have to do is update your task list because you're already up here. You go to your subject. Actually, you can go to your subject and then just put Soc-Sci 2. There you go. And it replaces that. You can go over here, change what color, and for me, Soc-Sci 2 is always orange. So we'll make it orange for now. The task 1, due date, let's just say October 3, and then it doesn't matter what type it is. There you go. And actually, if you look at the calendar, it should be here. So open the calendar, since it's a toggle. You can see it's kind of like that same issue I had where it's the linked database that always goes to table view. If you have that issue, go over here, delete, yes, and then now a calendar. And then if we go to October 3, you should see task 1, which is for Soc-Sci 2. It won't color it the same color as the subject though. But there you go. So if we're trying to do, Soc-Sci 2, you can add your icon, add your cover. I'm not going to add one right now. But if we go over here and we want it to be an orange color, if you want this to be an orange, you can use your hex code or you can use the preset colors that KTeX has. So you go over here. If I want this to be an orange, go like that and just type coral. There. And it shows up as very orange. So you go over here, you can just pick out your day. It's, for example, it's a Tuesday, Thursday class, and it's a 8:30 to 10 class. So you can just type 8:30 to 10 a.m. Click, and then it doesn't match the color scheme anymore. So this is how you change it. So you just click the 3 dots on the right side, change it to green, and if you want it to be sorted according to time, you can just hold the 6 dots and drag up. So now it's arranged by time. So Tuesday, Thursday, 8:30 to 10 class, and then add your section if that matters to you. Classification, it's a GE. Then to add the color code. So the way you add the color code is just, to be a little bit more helpful, you click on this, and the color code is just color box, like that, and another color box. So this should help you add your color code. Now, push paste, and you might be wondering why isn't it working. Well, to make inline code on Notion and to activate it, it can actually be activated on any line, even on the title. You do $, have your code, $, and then it goes straight to pink. To change it, you go over here, just put coral and coral. There. Now there's 2 of them. Just go like that. And then it's gone. So now this is the color code you have for that. Same thing, you can just change up the colors when you want to. Then if you want to change the rest of these pages, go over here, and coral. It's the same as all of them. Coral. So if you want to make it orange, you can make it orange. Now, before I just change all of these to orange, I can show you how you work on inputting basically everything. So since this is, a subject, and then subject is, I already preset the filter for here. Subject is, and then you can see since you added it onto your task list, it should show up here. So, subject is social science 2, soc sci 2. This is already on task and type, and then it's already pre-sorted to ascending. Now you can also add a filter, add another one, which is N, done is not checked. So if we check off task 1 as done, it should disappear from that so it doesn't keep backlogging even if you're already done with it. Same thing over here, go onto the table view. Since we have the timeline view and the table view, delete this. This shouldn't be in the final template, but I'm just telling you. Go to task input, actually. Go over here. Subject is... Oh, this is how I'll show you how the filters work, actually. If I go over here and make task 2 and label that for fill 40, and we go to soc sci 2, which doesn't have the filter activated yet. If we go over here, you'll see that fill 40 is here too. And yeah, it's kind of weird that fill 40 is here too. So you go to filter, subject is what subject you're in, and done is not checked. So that should help you kind of figure that out. If you want to have the same present view and all homeworks view, what you can do is add a view, and then we'll call this all homework. So when you have all homeworks, all you have to do is push create. All homeworks. So if you have a longer list of all homeworks, and that should be a lot longer, then instead of having turn on your filter. So kind of do the same thing as you did last time. So subject is whatever subject you're in, but don't have the where done is not checked, since that will just prevent you from seeing everything that's been done. And then to help you out, push sort, add sort, due date ascending. So that basically arranges it by sooner due dates first. And then you scroll down, and then the more later due dates are on the bottom of the list. And this is how you basically turn on a task input. So that's basically how you kind of fix up a subject board. So if it has its own photo or its own icon, you can see it over here, and you can just stretch this all the way down. Then if you check this off, it should disappear because over here it says when due date is within the next week or the due date is today, display it here, and only if it's not done yet. And then it's also sorted by date. So over here it says, when done is not checked. That means you haven't done it yet, and everything that isn't done is displayed here. So you can do the same thing over here, where you click on here, click on table, and go all homework. Then basically you don't have to sort it anymore. It just shows all homework, and then default view is your kind of remove all the checked ones. Same thing for the academic calendar. So we have the present view and the full ACAD calendar. Full ACAD calendar only has the sorting. For present view, it has the filter of where the date is on or after today. So it's not showing that we're on week 2 because it's already kind of current. It'll show you what happens next week. And that's basically it for this. I still have to do a bit of tweaking to the actual filter so you guys can use it a lot faster. But let's jump over to the other thing that I wanted to show you guys. So this is what I wanted to show you guys. This is what I call my brain notion. actually not my brain Notion, my brain Discord. I've been talking too much about Notion today. So yeah, this is my brain Discord. It's an actual server on my Discord. So these should be blurred out because I'm part of a lot of different servers, but you should see the icon of my server. So it actually says much thoughts ahead full, just like my actual status on Discord. So yeah, this is my brain Discord, and I use it to help me sort out a lot of thoughts. As you can see, I have a lot of different ones. So I have sections called left brain, right brain, and YouTube brain, because apparently YouTube is a separate part of my brain. And then long-term memory, which is basically my archive section. I just call it long-term memory because it's on theme. So this is my brain dump. So if I remember something and I just want to be able to like go back to it and not forget it, I put it over here. So, just a bunch of stuff that if I'm done with it, I put a little check mark so I know that it's done. So I haven't finished this one yet. That's the brain dump. It also saves me on a lot of memory space since I take a lot of screenshots. I want to store a lot of info, and this just helps sort it out, since if I have it on my desktop or on my phone, I tend to lose track of all my screenshots. So I just upload them here, and it's a lot easier to sort out. So stuff I want to buy, screenshots of stuff I want to buy. Just really, really simple. Like a bunch of these anime shirts. And, mouse pad, more t-shirts, stationery, cosplay stuff. And then, stuff like this. So I don't have to click on it. I just want to remember that it exists. Then I have helpful ACAD links. So this is just stuff that, resources for class. I also put them here. School calendar stuff. So this is the UP calendar for the semester. I put it here, so it's a lot easier to look at. Class homeworks I haven't used yet, since this is kind of like a last minute, if I just needed to type it somewhere thing. But since I have my Notion anyway, I don't use this that much. I have ACAD's tips, so it's just cool things that I found online that might help me in the future. Like for a paper, name people by the part they're working on, so they don't forget which part they're working on. Or, the honor system in UP, or how someone did a timeline on their bullet journal. Just stuff like that. Personal ACADS info actually contains my own personal ACADS info and the emails of a lot of my professors, so I'm not gonna open that because privacy. If we go over to marketing stuff, this is org work actually for me, so it's just notes on stuff to add on the marketing Notion. If I want to edit. It's kind of it also serves as its own thread, so this is just all marketing things, and then my own threads of what I want to be part of the primer. Information. Investments is a lot of the investments that I have, so I take a screenshot of how much it's worth so I can just track how much it's doing. Adulting is right now it just has one thing, which is how to file for a TIN, which is a tax identification number. It's something that I need to do for my org, so I just kept it here. Verses were, memory verses that I want to memorize, so I put them here. Task list archive is stuff like this, which is huge, since it's just a online to-do list that I keep for my org. It's part of our accountability thing, so I also have this here as an archive for everything that I've had. I used a different server for that before, so now there's only 2 here. Then for the more enjoyable parts, right brain, crochet ideas, a bunch of the things I want to crochet. If I'm done with it, same thing, check mark. It's just a lot of different things that I want to crochet, so keep it all over here. Activities to do, if I'm bored, these are other things that I can do. Tutorials and templates, so just other YouTube channels that have, PowerPoint tutorials, intros, editing stuff, just so that I can all keep them here. Upcoming anime, so this is from my anime list, and it just shows you when it's released, and then I can just keep track of all of them. Aesthetic ideas is just help for designing things. Minecraft build ideas, so these are just my own ideas of what I want to build. Build tutorials for the things that I want to build but don't have the creativity to build myself. Redstone tutorials, Notion stuff. This is actually where I planned out this video, right here. And then other Notion things. So this is a kind of rough outline of what I want for the gallery video, set up for myself, some help with, colors, and this is the Cowbojis link that's in the description. This Indify, more text layout, tips and stuff, and I like keeping them all here. And then full cartoon episodes, which is just a bunch of cartoons that the creators seem to be posting full episodes of, and these are a bunch of the stuff that I watched when I was a kid. So just keeping in the ear for when I'm bored. Then YouTube Brain, video ideas, video music, earring ideas, title and thumbnail ideas. So I can actually show you earring ideas. I found this person who makes like cookies and decorates cookies, and I thought it'd be really cool to make like these ones as earrings, like I did my Tanjiro earrings. So yeah, and then long-term memory just has archive stuff, and this is just my brain Notion. I keep saying Notion, my brain Discord. I use this to, sort out a lot of the screenshots that I have. So you can see a bunch of screenshots here, random helpful things, other YouTube links, just so that my bookmarks bar on Google Chrome doesn't get too messed up and have too much information in it. Because right now I can barely use it because I can't really find anything that I want to find. And yeah, I hope this gives you some inspiration on like how to set up your own like organizational system for the semester, because I'm also trying this out. And so far, it's actually been pretty helpful since I can access it from my laptop and also my phone. So that's my Notion page and Brain Discord for the first semester. I hope you guys liked it and it gave you ideas on how to go about your own planning and organizing. Once again, the template for the design I showed is in the description, along with my other Notion templates and resources I used to make them. What do you guys think of the page in the Brain Discord? Leave them in the comments below. If you found this video interesting, hit the like button, and if you want to see more videos like this from me, then hit the subscribe button and the bell to know when a new video is out. I try to upload every week, Monday nights at 8. I guess that's all for this video. Bye guys!